Carrrnversations.
You guys, welcome to today's conversation.
So excited. It's been a minute.
We owe you so much content, but we're going to talk because we are in Women's Month and we had Women's Day this week.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you a question. Uguti, in your 23-year-old self, how do you view women? What's your perspective of women? When you see women, what is your thoughts?
I see beautiful women.
Oh, Shaka.
But I see them as the total opposite of what men are.
Okay, in what sense?
In everything. How they reason, how you guys think, how creative you are. Like, we could both be creative, but it's different. It's different. It's always fascinating. It's always frustrating. It's always interesting. I think it's all emotions. Like, it's like, it makes you angry, but it makes you appreciate them so much. It makes you value women so much because of how they think and how for me it really is like I feel like there are these forces that are our men's biggest companion, but also greatest nightmare in the sense of really, like, I think that's how I see them.
And then my next question would be, what is it that you've always maybe wanted to know about women but always been afraid to ask? That's a tough one.
How are you guys really? No, this is like, how are you? Like, no, for real. Like, the other day I was having a conversation with the grade 10s, right? And the girls really believed this. And it's an idea that I've had, but I didn't know. At their age even, they really believe this. So women have to go through tough times for them to be strong. They need to struggle for them to be strong individuals. It's like, umuntu onjani ocabanga kanjalo, and it's the fact that they were convinced about this.
I think that part it's coming from our upbringing, of course. I always talk about the women in my circle. They're strong women because they've been through some things, right? But how I don't want to lose my trail of thoughts, but you were going, how are you
really?
In what sense?
In the sense of, in every sense, like, women, obviously now we live in a world where women are being almost, like, I want to say, given the spotlight. If you check movies, it's all about feminism and all of that. But obviously it's almost like you've been out of a era of hardship, and now the world is opening up to women. And how is that? How is the transition, the journey, I mean, there's so much that you guys want to share, and there's so much the space that you guys are given now, and it's a lot happening. I wanna, like, how are you? Like, I really want to know your heart of hearts.
Okay, I believe in a thing of, there is one woman and her name is all women. When I say that means, once again, every experience that, if her name is woman, though I may not have gone through exactly what she's going through, but to a certain extent and certain degree, I can always relate.
Yes.
I can relate to it, or I've experienced it in a different dimension. So, and again, although being very careful, because we are still very different, though we are the same, but very different. Okay. So when it comes to the world opening up, I think women have gone through very serious transitions that if we don't stop as women, we have to be conscious of the transitions that have taken place. For example, women went from being very oppressed to women can't do this, women can't do that, to okay, now the world is opening up, now you can, now you must fight. But now, in this space that we can, women are now having to juggle so there's been such a big fight to enter into these spaces. Now that we're in these spaces, now a lot of the times women are finding themselves having to choose between, so how do I become a mom?
myself, yes.
How do I become a mom, hold down a household, but also kill it in business, or kill it in be a leader or be a boss? How do I, okay, or is being a boss meaning I have to sacrifice
lose
this?
my gentleness, lose my,
you know, can I do it both? So you will hear you listen to a lot of podcasts. They speak of mommy guilt. They speak of, there's a lot of shame in, because the truth is a lot of women don't know how to, because very few have actually seen it, because we come from a background where parents chose one or the other. They chose, if they chose their careers,
then it's that.
the children were left with the grandmothers, right? And if they chose their children, then they couldn't. So a lot of the times, very few of us have a mirror and of doing it both. There was always very few of us have a story or an example of how it actually looked like when women were now doing it both. And maybe three things, because now having to be a career woman, having to be a mom, and having to be a wife, I cannot imagine that being easy. There's a line, and I know, corny, I'm quoting Beyonce, but there's a line in her song where she says, I can't get any days off, and I'm still trying to be a good wife. And really goes on to say, this is hard, because how I have to show up for a partner who's expecting, and shop for my work, which I love sometimes. So I think it's a very tough thing, and it requires, I think, a brave woman, because a brave woman who, I recently just read a quote by Serena Williams where she said she spent all her life on the tennis court and killing it. And immediately after giving birth, she went back struggling with postpartum depression, and she was back trying to win and think. And she said, but looking back now, if she had to choose, she'd choose her family. And that's the thing, is now we need to be brave to say, if all I want is to become a mom and a wife,
then I choose that. While we're still at that, I want to have your insight or your idea of, now let's speak about being brave, right? Do you think being brave is different for men and women, or it's the same, just wearing different garments?
Oh my goodness, it's the same, wearing different garments, because a man, and specifically in this context, in this family context, because a man has to go, I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to choose one woman, and I'm going to stand for my family. I'm going to be brave to, especially where we are now with men not wanting to get married anymore. And it takes a courageous man who says, I still want to have a family, I want to be the head of my household, and I want to be the leader. And so therefore there are certain choices. A man who's going to move like that is going to have to make some hectic choices, brave choices, right? And so that's the difference. And speaking of which, and I'm going to, oh my goodness, I'm going to shout out Undi. Undi said, it's the fact that as I'm about to say this, I still remember him saying, Ukulma Akulu. I can't tell you this because you're going to tell someone. But anyway, Undi, I mean, he's got a fiance. Everyone knows Undi's got a fiance. He posted her, okay? Oh, if I wasn't supposed to say this, Undi, you know who I am. I'm sorry. But Undi said something. I was asking him, Uti, prior to meeting her, was he in husband space? And he says yes. And I said to him, be practical with me. What did it look like to prepare yourself to be a husband? And he said, immediately I had to cut out all contacts I was having with any other females, because that's a brave decision.
Right?
Anything that might show up in a marriage and be an issue, even if the conversation was just silly, but the fact that it could be anything.
It potentially could
be. He said I had to shut that out. Even with going out with my friends, I had to start now calculating, saying, okay, if I'm going out with you, suppose I had a wife. This was before he met her. Suppose I had a wife. Can I move like this? Is it responsible to move like this? Can I afford to be where they are and be exposed to whatever they're going to be exposed to as a man who's thinking I'm going to lead a household?
Sure.
You know,
shout out to Undi.
Finances. So when I say that, I think a brave that
sure
requires,
will do that.
That definitely
stepping
requires,
into that space requires,
requires, and I think for women it means now you have to choose. You can be career driven. That's okay. If that's your area of bravery, go for it. But also it's brave for me to say, I want a family. And for me, it's being the best mother. And I'm going to choose this. And look, because the world is going to go, but Onomzamo are killing us, and you go, but I don't want to be Onomzamo. I want to invest into raising, or I'm going to be brave to try and pick both of them up
and try this Nomzamo but still
and
be the best
brave
mom
and
ever.
So it's going to require a bit of bravery.
I have a question, one last question. I know I'm asking a lot of questions.
It's okay,
but
it's okay.
The leadership thing when it comes to men and women, especially in a relationship, especially in building a family, I've always seen it as we are equal leaders. It's just that we lead at different times and we lead differently. Sometimes certain situations needs you to, you take the lead. Is that true, or there needs to be, like the Bible puts it, the head of the family? And maybe I'm raising head or being the head above than being the heart. Maybe that's more important.
Okay, I think every relationship is different.
Okay,
that's starting to love. Every relationship is different, and no matter what the principles are, seasons will change. They definitely, I think the leadership thing, yes, it doesn't change because you're the head of the household, you're the head of the household.
But what does that mean?
The season's changing. No,
the head of the house part.
The head of the household.
It doesn't change the fact that you're the head of the house. You're also going on that same tone. You're the head of the house, like you're the most important. Like, is there...
Head of the house. You're the face of my family. Think of a face of... Okay. Think of Maktua Umuntu uyi face of the brand.
The ambassador of Nike.
Nike, whatever. They are the face. So anything pertaining to what's going on here, you are the face, you are the representative. But the work that goes behind is not necessarily all your work.
Oh, okay.
So for me, when we say he is the head of the household, all of us, not only am I wearing your name, because now I wear your name. So when I'm stepping out and I'm doing whatever in the world, I am representing this man that I married. Wherever I am, I'm representing this man. So now, even if I am leading in a space, I'm leading under this man. It will never, brand Gasmabato as an individual will never exist outside. And it shouldn't. And that's the thing. I shouldn't want it to.
But now, does this mean my responsibility to ensure first of all, so that because I can't share something that I haven't already mastered myself. So this means I need to ensure what is this family that I want you to represent. So my responsibility is to first, I need to get this right first, because everyone else comes to represent this.
That's it. My manager Simpiwe always says this. He always says you cannot hire people. Because I was talking about getting a team for Healed and Loved, and he said you can't get a team unless you're clear on what are we doing. So when you're asking somebody to come and marry you, what are they marrying into? What's the vision that they're marrying into? So I love the whole idea of I'm submitting to what? If I'm going to come and marry you, what's the vision I'm submitting to, so that I can run and know what's gonna. This is the vision for. This is, you get what I'm saying? So you're the leader, you're the face of the marriage, and so that I can represent you well, I need to know. I need to have an understanding. So a lot of the times we get men who are powerful in a particular area, and just because you financially provide doesn't mean you've given us the vision for this marriage. You've just got the finances.
That's okay.
Okay. But now, because you have to talk about what's the vision for our family, what's the vision for the children that we're going to raise, what is our vision when we step outside of this house, so that wherever you are in the world, you remember, we have a plan. Did we step out and say we want to be the couple that shows other couples that it's possible? If that's our vision, that means you are in New York and I am in China for the weekend. But still, this is our goal.
Oh, I love this, because now this makes accountability easy.
Absolutely.
Because now when I ask you, will you marry me? I'm asking you to buy into my plan.
That's exactly.
So as soon as you step out of this, you're stepping out to the agreement that we had when I asked you something, I offered you my hand of marriage, and you stepping.
I'm taking your name because I'm saying
yes.
I will go to battle and I'll go to war. I'm saying yes to the vision. So sometimes it's I'm not saying yes to you. I'm saying yes to the vision of. I'm
saying yes to what we want to build.
I'm saying yes to, yes, I want to build with you. How can two walk together unless they agree? I'm agreeing to walk with you because we're going somewhere. You know?
Yo.
So that's how I feel, and that's what I believe.
Yo.
You know, that's really how I feel. So when we speak about dynamics of men and women in being brave, and so as a man, really, so I then understand why Adam was created first. I then understand why you have to be the head. I then understand why you have to sort yourself out. And again, we're not saying you must have all the boxes checked out, but also
because some box I'm gonna tick for you.
Some boxes I'm gonna tick for you. And sometimes just have and again, we're just saying have an idea of what it is that you want to create, and I'm here as your helper to get to that idea. I'm not saying
get you there.
Have everything already sorted out and then come in. What is it? Okay, Iloko, this is your plan. I'm here. I can be your hands and feet, and I will do what it is that you wanted to do. So yeah, I can't even remember where we're going with this conversation. It's the fact that I wanted to get your idea on what do you think about women, and then you went on a relationship journey. Do you want to get married someday?
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully soon. So.
I hate the timing of this conversation.
It's the fact that the timing is bad.
The timing, it's a beautiful timing. I want you to get married soon as well.
I'd love to get married soon.
Like you, even if all we have is just ideas of what we want. We don't have to have all our ducks, but the certain ducks we have to have in a row.
Oh, definitely.
Certain, definitely. You know what I wish for you when it comes to, I don't want you to mhlawumbe sengisho nje indaba ezinkulu. But if mangathiwa uShaka, knowing uShaka like how I know you, bese kuthiwa kube kuthiwa umuntu ngiyakwazi ukumdweba, and this is no pressure, and this is wrong on like 100 levels. Draw a person for uShaka. I'd want somebody who is very stable for you, who will be able to, somebody who will able to bring you home. Somebody very stable, somebody absolutely very kind. But also kind, but a little bit strict so that they can protect. You've got a beautiful heart. And so the female has to be able to protect your heart. You've got a beautiful heart. So she has to be sorted in that space. Or else she can't have a heart like yours.
Otherwise, that ship sinking.
Unless but then again, I'm not God. Maybe God is like, this is what He's trying to create in the world. But she must be kind. She must be a little bit stern. And she has to be a creative. Kodwa, a creative, not too much, because you're creative. Because in the too much creativity, sometimes creativity doesn't have boundaries. You detour
a lot.
Yeah, but and then somebody who definitely loves the Lord, or else it's not going to work. And or definitely loves the Lord and can hear from the Lord.
That's a big one.
Definitely, and can hear from the Lord. But somebody who's kind, has some sort of
So if you're listening and you're that person, oh no, I can't say that.
What are you gonna say? She must slide in the DMs.
I was say slide in the DMs, but no, don't slide in the DMs.
I rebuke you.
We rebuke you because like Undi, we're not speaking to anyone who's coming with bad intentions here.
Rebuke you. Okay, you must go.
Okay, let's go. Bye, guys.
Thank you. We will upload.
Definitely.
Okay.